For my phylogenetic tree, I'm going to use makeup. My different makeup items are what we call operational taxonomic units, OTUs, and I'm grouping them based on their phenotype. We're using rooted trees rather than unrooted trees because the rooted tree gives you a better idea of the chronological order of evolution. More closely related species have a more recent common ancestor. More distantly related species have a less recent common ancestor. These dots represent the most recent common ancestor of all my species. We call these internal nodes. We're going to start with the two most closely related OTUs on my list, liquid eyeliner and pencil eyeliner. They're pretty similar when you look at function and color. I use them to draw a black line around my eyes. The difference is that one is a liquid pen and the other is kind of like a crayon. Because these two things are so similar, I'd say they had a common ancestor pretty recently, and that's why these branches are going to be the shortest. Here we have mascara. Similar to the eyeliners, it's a liquidy substance that I use on my eyes. It's also a similar color to the eyeliners. I'd say it's a different species because I use it on my eyelashes just to make them darker instead of using it to draw a line around my eye. I put eyeshadow as a more distant relative due to its powdery consistency and the fact that I use it on my eyelids. Alright, so that's the part of our tree dedicated to the eyes. Here we see bronzer and blush grouped together. I'd say they're pretty closely related since they both add color to my cheeks and they're both a powdered consistency. I linked foundation and concealer together because they both have to do with covering up my blemishes and they're both liquid. Since I use all four of these OTUs on the actual skin on my face, I group them separately from the makeup I use on my eyes. My out group is going to be my makeup brushes. The out group is the OTU that diverged the earliest from the rest of my items. We put it in a category kind of by itself. If we compare the brushes to the rest of my things, we would consider them more of as a tool to help us apply makeup rather than as makeup. So the rest of my makeup and my makeup brushes all have a common ancestor, but it's a really early common ancestor. Let's say we have like a really dark bronzer and a lighter bronzer. The bronzers are still the same species, even though the phenotype is different. This is an example of anagenesis, which is evolution within a lineage over time. It has to do with how a species develops and changes without necessarily becoming a new one. I also want to explain cladogenesis, so when you split one lineage and you end up with two separate species, this also means that the now different species can't interbreed anymore. So in my case, I couldn't have an eyeliner that's both liquid and pencil. These are two different species, and they can't be combined without compromising the integrity of the product.